Hello guys, welcome here to Tinkle Sports Talk. I'm sorry we missed you all last week. We were still hyped on the Syracuse game and completely forgot that we had a show to do. So,
yeah, exactly.
It is what it is.
More like I totally forgot because I went to bed early.
I also had to work early, so it's a two-way street there. But we're back this week. We'll be back going forward. It's unfortunately scheduling sometimes doesn't always work out, as some of you guys know, I'm sure. At least the people that generally watch or listen to the show know very well. We do have some good discussions from that game if we do have time, of course. We got a lot to get to in this hour. Of course, we got to talk a little Week 6 NFL recaps. We wanted to do Week 5. We just didn't have time to do that either. We'll, of course, have our Week 7 predictions, and then, of course, we will have two really good... We had two Tinkle on this week that we just couldn't pass up sharing, so we're going to share those today. It's going to be a nice week for Tinkle on this to make up for last week. But with that, let's get started with the NBA news. So, of course, the biggest news in the NBA this week is revolving around Ben Simmons. Yep. He was suspended one game for disrupting practice. Charles Barkley was on Pardon the Interruption. And by the way, when Barkley speaks, people listen. That's why we bring him up a lot when he quotes something on this show. So he was on Pardon the Interruption this week. He said that suspension was, quote, stupid. Ben Simmons should have been suspended for 3 to 5 games, and the Sixers should have done right by trading him. Is Barkley correct? And what are your thoughts here?
I think he's right in a sense of trading him. Like, I know Ben Simmons is trying anything he can to get traded. I mean, I guess he's doing it in the right sense in the word, but the thing is, like, disrupting practice, that's a big no-no. You're still a part of the team until you do get either released or traded. So how about be a real professional and show teams that, like, you actually still sort of care. Look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing. He doesn't want to be in Green Bay, but he's still going out there and winning games. You got to still be a professional in the end of the day. And I don't think that Ben Simmons is being a very big professional in the sense that if you're disrupting practice, it just shows teams like, should we even take the risk on him type of thing? Like, he really should be a professional. He should be there with his team. Doesn't mean he has to put up the most production at all. Just still be out there and being professional, showing at the practices, willing to put in the work and show teams he's committed. Right now, all he's showing is teams don't want to take the risk on him because he's not gonna care about going there for practice. Then he's gonna try to disrupt and get himself suspended. And then, okay, and so what if he does get the trade? You don't know if it's gonna be any better or any worse of a situation that he's already in right now.
Yeah. See,
and I'm pretty sure he doesn't really care either. It's just
let's just stop the ball here and say that first off, he's not LeBron James. He's not a superstar in the league. He's not Luka. He's not LeBron. Quit acting like you are, okay? You have not earned that respect. And frankly, they would never have to earn their respect that way. Okay, they let their play do the talking, okay? Dwight Howard wasn't happy in Orlando, but he still played. Okay?
Exactly.
Zion's been unhappy, I believe, in New Orleans, and he's still playing. Damian Lillard is upset in Portland, and he's still playing. Okay? There's ways to go about it without burning bridges. And on top of it, if you're just going to go in there and destroy the locker room on your way out, you should have just done the team the favor and stayed home and paid the fines that you would have had to pay for missing the practices. Okay? I don't want to hear any more slander on Doc Rivers. This has nothing to do with Doc Rivers. Okay? This has everything to do with being a team player here. Okay, Here's the thing. You go out in the real world and you want to be transferred into another department and it gets held up. Or you get a promotion and it gets delayed because they didn't find someone to fill your position. and you act
Right.
like that in the real world job, you're going to lose your job 9 times out of 10.
Oh, I know.
Your employer won't deal with that. Okay?
Nope.
Ben Simmons is just lucky because the Sixers know what they'd lose. They'd lose trade capital by releasing him. But frankly,
Right.
I will say this. Ben Simmons is doing himself no favors by acting
No.
this way. He
No.
is, you know what he's doing? He's showing other teams, okay, if I don't like your situation, this is what you have to look out for.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll tell you one thing. He proved one thing to me, is that he's the reason the Sixers aren't successful. It's not Doc Rivers anymore.
I probably happen to agree with you on that one.
He's the only tumor in that locker room, and my apologies to anyone that might offend, but he is the tumor in that locker room right now.
Right.
So, man, we're out hitting and swinging right away.
I know. I guess I'll say this as my last point in this. I want to say 3 to 5 games is probably
I agree.
a good amount of games he probably should have been suspended for.
Oh.
But if it's only one practice, I guess suspending him 1 game is all right for right now. But if it's a multiple occurrence of that he's disrupting, I think it should be more.
Yeah.
The discipline him a little bit more. Like, hey, if you keep on doing this, we're gonna just keep on adding more games to your suspension.
Yeah.
So, just
No.
saying. That's just final take.
Here's where I'm going to take my armchair analyst hat off and put on my coaching hat. If any of my players acted like this, if any player that I have coached over the years, and I've coached this is going to be my 6th season, if I'm lucky, my 6th season of coaching, and I will say this, if any player came into my practice being that disruptive and being that much, and pardon me, but if any player came in acting like an asshole like he did, I would have kicked him out of the gym and said, don't come back until you're going to be a team player.
Nah,
Okay?
I would have kicked him off the damn team right then and there.
I wouldn't have suspended him. I wouldn't have suspended him for a set amount of time. I would have said, you're not a part of this team until you act like it. Okay? You wanna act like a child, you can be treated like one. That's all I'm gonna say. Stop blaming.
I guess I'm just
Doc
shocked that the
Rivers.
76ers didn't release him right then and there afterwards. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
Doc Rivers is very disciplined of a man. I mean, he's taken a lot of crap in his years. Like, look who
Yeah.
he's coached over the years too. Like, that's a lot of egos in that
And-
locker room that he's coached.
And can I
So,
point this out? He will never ever have the respect of the Philly fan base ever again.
oh, what, Ben Simmons? Hell
Nope.
no.
And Philadelphia is the most ruthless fan base in any sport.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most ruthless city as far as fan bases. He
Yeah.
will never get that respect again. I'm telling you. All respect has been lost, not just on the court, but in the community. He can't even show his face in Philadelphia right now, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Okay, he's the most hated guy there, so just thought I'd throw that out there. Barkley
And I also
made that
kind of
point
found
too.
it a little funny that the Pelicans fans were chanting, "Where's Ben Simmons?" as the 76ers
Yeah.
were taking free throws in New Orleans, by the way. Which,
Ah, man.
I mean, that could be very, being a, it could be funny, it could be being an asshole, it could be anything. But
An
I'm
early
just watching it
tinkle on
like
this
that's
for
just
you.
kind of funny, actually.
An early tinkle on this for you. So there we go. Yeah, I think that's all we've got. I think we covered that pretty well. So
Yeah.
let's move on here to our Week 6 takeaways. And actually, I forget who started last, so I'll just let Jason start off with his takeaways because I think I did when we did the show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably. Well, if anybody's watched that Bills game, and I'm sure they did, you're gonna find out that Derrick Henry is just showcasing why he should just be the MVP of the league like almost every single year at this point, because he is putting himself on a pace to have one of the best rushing seasons ever. I think he's on pace to, if I remember correctly, he's on pace to having like 20-something touchdowns and like 2,200 yards, which it could very well happen. He's already close to 1,000 already. And he's got not just one, but 10 touchdowns through 6 weeks of action. That's insane to think about. He's had a couple of games where he's had 3 touchdowns, but Derrick Henry, I wrote it showcasing why he's called the king, because that man is just unstoppable to take down at this point.
Yep. I agree, honestly. He's... You know what's funny is we had this debate on our fantasy football live stream earlier this year. And there was a guy, I forget his name, but he was one of the few that actually watched the live stream and asked questions. And
about
he had
Derrick
asked
Henry?
us about Derrick Henry because he was debating between McCaffrey and Henry. And we all thought Henry was going to have kind of a down year, but it appears what started out week 1 has not continued through the rest of the year so far. So, just thought I'd throw that out there.
I will say this now, I'm glad I did draft him because 4-1 in that league, and I tell you,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Can I point out, can I just do a shout out to my brother real quick since we're on the fantasy football topic? I did not cheat. The tiebreaker was bench points, and I beat him. Fair and square. Keep crying. Okay, keep crying. That's all I'm going to say.
Alright, I'll continue. Man, I tell you what, I don't know what it is about Mac Jones, but he knows how to battle out against some great quarterbacks. It may almost makes you think, are the Pats the best 2-4 team out there right now?
I think so.
Because I tell you, if there was any other quarterback putting up those kind of numbers with other teams, it usually results in wins. Don't get me wrong, they had their fair share of battles where it came to a loss, but what if those were wins right now? Then you turn that record into a 4-2 record, and they would be tied with the Buffalo Bills right now. That's scary to think about. Because if you think about it, that game against the Dallas Cowboys could have very well easily been a win. Or not very easily. Could have turned it into a win. Same thing with the Bucks. That could have turned into a win. If you think about it, think about it this way. If the Pats had the same record as the Bills, and the Buffalo Bills and the Pats, a rookie quarterback against somebody who's been in the league for 4 years, you look at them like, holy crap, the Pats are battling the Bills. A rookie quarterback who plays a lot like Tom Brady is battling a quarterback that's, established and making a name out of himself, 4 years into the league. And you think about him like, man, this is just like the, back in the day when it was Dan Marino and Jim Kelly kind of days. But you look at it now, the Pats are 2-4, but man, they're looking very scary good against a lot of these good teams. It makes you think, what's going to happen in the next few years?
Oh, I know, exactly. Here's the thing. They're not there yet. Obviously, the wide receiver issue, they will get there. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, Robert Kraft, don't give up on Belichick just yet. Okay. I know it's looking grim. He might be on the chopping block, but don't give up on him just yet. I think he can work some magic with this kid.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. And my last point, the Cardinals.
Is this a bold prediction?
6-0 for nothing. But, like I was saying it before starting this podcast, they probably only really do have 2 credible wins. And that's against the Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Rams. If you look at the other ones, you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hoorah. You beat the 49ers. Like, they've been hit and miss this year. I think they're 2-4 or something like that. Then you played up against a lot of these easier teams. And I look at the rest of their schedule, they have to play the Houston Texans. Of course they'll go into more of it second half of the show, but you just look at the rest of their schedule and you're kind of handing them the NFC at this point. I hate to say it, but I think they're the team to beat in the NFC until otherwise. They're just showcasing that they have literally the most complete team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are my takeaways.
All right. Yeah, I will agree with you. Here's the thing. The difference between the Cardinals being 6-0 and the Steelers being 6-0 at this point is they've beaten some quality teams.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Here's the thing. Titans are a quality team. You can say what you want about them. They're a quality team. They beat, the Vikings and the Jaguar. I'll give them the Vikings as kind of a tough team because they played them to the wire. They're the only team this season that played them to the wire.
34-33 is what I saw score-wise.
Then, of course, they dismantled the Rams. They beat the Niners by a score. And then they dismantled the Browns. But keep in mind, the Browns are a banged-up team right now. You got to imagine if the Browns were at full strength, this game could have been very close.
Yeah.
So, I think you can make a stronger case than Pittsburgh. I don't think they're the strongest 6-0 team ever. But I will say that I think I agree with you here, though. They are the team to beat in the NFC until someone proves otherwise.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'll go on my takeaways here. Now, this one I wanted to do last week, but I wanted to make this case week 5. I think week 6 proved that case. Don't buy into LA just yet. Okay? I'm just going to throw it out there. I knew this loss was coming. I didn't expect it to be this bad. I thought it would be a typical one-score loss.
That was a bad loss.
This was straight up. We just did not have an answer for the run game, which, by the way, the Ravens don't have much of a run game outside of Lamar Jackson. So that should tell you something.
I'm just going to say this now. As a Chargers fan, how do you feel to let Le'Veon Bell just go out there and score a touchdown? Like, that man hasn't been relevant since his days in Pittsburgh, just saying.
Yeah. I'm disappointed, to say the least. Thankfully, we got a bye week this week to get our shit together. But I'm just telling you, to those who said that the Chargers are the team that's going to face Buffalo in the AFC Championship, and there have been analysts that have said that, back up the train, okay? It's not going to happen. I can tell you, I'm willing
I
to
think
go out
right
there and
now,
say
if there's any team that could meet them in the AFC Championship game, it's probably Baltimore.
Yeah, I would go out there and say Baltimore as well. But I will say the Chargers will make the playoffs. I think there's no doubt here they're going to make the playoffs. They may make the division or the second round, but that's going to be it. I think that'll be it for them. They're a team that's still up and coming. They got work to do. I do like this coach's mentality, but I'm still iffy on them. They're still the Chargers. They are still owned by Dean Spanos there. So, by the way, fuck you, Spanos. So, just thought I'd throw that out there. I will say, though, you can invest your stock in the fact that Justin Herbert is in this MVP race. I wouldn't invest as much stock as Kyler Murray right now, but I will say you can invest that stock in Justin Herbert, and I will stay to that course.
I think this is the tightest MVP race it's been in a while.
Exactly. And I think Derrick Henry's in it now.
Oh, okay. I think Henry, Murray, Herbert, Brady, Allen.
Mahomes is in it, regardless of how many turnovers he's got.
I don't know. Mahomes might be, but I think he's really the bottom of the list. I don't think he's one of the top ones.
I'm just going to pull up my Twitter real quick. Can I just point out, on a side note, because I think we have some time. I don't think we have a lot, but I will say this. I want to give kudos to Peter King at NFL on NBC. He got the top 10 quarterback rankings right. I mean, so right that I wanted to find ways to nitpick it, but I couldn't find ways to change it. Okay, he had Kyler Murray number 1, Josh Allen number 2, Dak Prescott number 3, which is, I'm sorry, Dak is number 3 right now until, I can't deny it anymore. Lamar Jackson 4, Tom Brady 5, Aaron Rodgers 6, Justin Herbert 7, Patrick Mahomes 8th, where he belongs this year. 9, Matt Stafford. 10, 10 is an arguable one, but I do agree with Kirk Cousins. So just thought I'd throw that out there real quick. My my second point here, and boy, this point's getting invalidated as we're my point is getting thrown out the window as we're recording, because the Browns are up 17-7 last I checked.
Yeah, they are.
Shit is all I gotta say to that. There's a play under review right now, of course, while we're recording. Are the Browns upstream without a paddle at this point? They've got no Nick Chubb. They've got no Kareem Hunt. They've got no Baker. And Baker might be out a while, by the way. He fractured his humerus. And it's not so funny after all. I'm sorry. I had to go there.
That's insane.
But, yeah, so he fractured his humerus. He's probably going to get put on the short-term IR. I wouldn't doubt it. And let's face it, Case Keenum is not a good quarterback. Say what you want, he's not a good quarterback.
No, he only had one lucky run with Minnesota, and that's it.
Can I just say, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but how does someone like Case Keenum still have a job, but Cam Newton's a free agent?
I don't know.
Frankly, I would take Cam... You can argue this. I would take Cam Newton over Case Keenum, because at least Cam Newton had some good years. Case Keenum never had a good year in the NFL. I called him a bust from the start.
Oh, at least Cam Newton's been to a Super Bowl. Case Keenum can never say that.
Exactly, and he'll never say that unless he's the backup to Tom Brady next year.
And so, who knows? It could very well happen.
Point that out. So, here's the thing. I think my point's being invalidated, but I will say this for my next point. The Bills are still the team to beat. And I'm shocked Jason didn't take this one. The Bills are still the team to beat in the AFC. Okay? That was a little blemish. And by a little blemish, I mean a big one. But it doesn't hurt their chances in the race. But here's why. Because I think the likelihood of them playing Tennessee in the playoffs, unlikely. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think they'll run into Tennessee. I think they're safe for now. What I was going to say... Here's the thing, I just want to say this point as well. Sean McDermott made the right call. Say what you want, 4th and 1. You could have tied the game. But let's look at it this way. If the Titans got the coin toss in overtime, now you're going to have them shoving it down your throat with Derrick Henry because they know he's your kryptonite on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the last 3 times they played Tennessee, they've had no answer for Derrick Henry. None.
Yeah, but the only difference is that as of late, like the last 2 matchups, they haven't had any answer for Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But the 2 previous matchups, Buffalo had Tennessee's number. There was an instance where they beat them 14-7, and then there was another instance. But I don't know. Buffalo doesn't seem to have the best track record when they play them in Tennessee. When it's in Buffalo, it's a little bit of a different story. That's why I know these 2 teams are going to play each other again next year. It's pretty much almost a given at this point.
They're going to win.
Tennessee's going to win. Tennessee's going to win the division. So is Buffalo.
Yep. I don't think...
I'm hoping to God that this time it's in Buffalo. No, none of this Tennessee-Nashville bull crap. I want it in Buffalo. And you know what? I'll be safe to say I would love to get tickets to see it.
I'll join you on that. I'll join you.
Because I really do think that the outcome is going to be totally different.
Yep. Maybe if we get our subscriber count up. Because keep in mind, you can't stream on a mobile device without 1,000 subscribers. So any of you guys want to help us out to get 1,000 subscribers between now and next year, that would be greatly appreciated. Come on, create fake accounts if you have to get us there. Because if we get 1,000 subscribers, maybe we'll do a live show from Highmark Stadium. Just saying. Just saying. I'm just going to throw that idea out there. Again, now if the Titans beat the Chiefs this weekend, which I don't think Well, actually, I wouldn't rule out, to be honest, because the Chiefs are the 32nd ranked defense, and Mahomes has had a little turnover problem this year. You know, I will say
I'm going to say this
Chiefs,
now about the Bills. Yes,
Yeah.
they did lose. And yes, it was a great play call. But a lot of it could be like, well, Josh slipped. Might have not been the best,
Yeah, it was just an
thing.
unfortunate circumstance.
I will say this now. If you look at the defense from the Tennessee Titans, there's no way he could have been able to run up the middle. Maybe to the left, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a little opening there. But going straight forward, he had
here's
no
the thing.
room to go past that defense
Here's the
whatsoever.
thing. McDermott was right to go for it on 4th and 1 because you give the ball back to Tennessee in overtime after a field goal, you could kiss the game goodbye. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Was it the right play call? Probably not. I would have probably handed it to Moss, maybe.
No, like I said before, Buffalo in the past used Isaiah McKenzie big time. I think he
Yeah.
would have done something like that. Would have had him line up as a wide receiver, but then have him run behind Josh Allen, hand it to him, and I think they could have easily gotten the first down doing something like that because, Buffalo has not done that all year long, so Tennessee would have been totally caught off guard by it.
So.
But then again, who knows? They very well could have got him right then and there for the same thing to happen with Josh Allen going for it.
Can I just... Oh, sorry. I was just going to add, can I give a round of applause to Tennessee because they finally showed Bills Mafia what a forward pass is after all these years? Come on.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, they ended the debate. Okay, that was a forward pass.
I'm going to say this now. I'm happy that Buffalo is still averaging 30 points a game. If you looked at the numbers that Allen had, I think it was 37 for like 45. I don't know. I think it was like it was 34 for 47 or something like that for 354 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you look at that any other day, that would have easily been enough.
A win.
That would have been enough to put together a win.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to give a lot of credit to Tennessee. Tennessee's defense came up big in a lot of ways in that game. So, I'll give him the credit there. But I will say, the way that he got the offense going, he got all 3 of his top receivers going, that would have been enough to really get the win there. So, I'll give Tennessee the credit. Them being a 5-1 team, I'll give them all the credit in the world. I really do think that, Oh wait, actually no, they're 4-1, not 5-1. I'm going way too far ahead.
They're 4-2.
That's right. They're the same record as the Bills, 4-2. Yes, they have the track record above, Kansas City right now, and it's safe to say, even with Tennessee, yes, they have the one up on Buffalo. They're the 3rd seed. Buffalo's the 4th seed. But honestly, I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't really care in the end if Buffalo doesn't get home field advantage. Just to be in the like last year, they didn't have home field advantage. Yeah, they played 2 games in Buffalo before getting to Kansas City. Now that I saw that they can be able to beat Kansas City, I feel very confident that Buffalo can get even further this year in the playoffs. And that's how I'm going to leave that off as.
Yeah. So I'm going to agree with that. With that, I think that leads into our first break, and our anchor break.
Anchor and canteen.
Yep. Well, not a canteen break anymore.
But
that's been
anchor
long.
Break.
So, real quickly before we do go, of course, we'll have our NFL picks when we come back. I just want to say real quick, of course, we are a week away from November, and here at Tinkle Sports and Entertainment, I did bring this up on Out of Turn 4 this week. We will be fundraising for No Shave November, which is to raise money for cancer awareness. You could tell I got a little head start I've had that for like the past 6 months. Just been trimming it every once in a while. So I believe Jason and I are the only ones participating here on Tinkle Sports this year.
I'll probably have to shave a little bit beforehand, but
I'm shaving October 31st. We don't get head starts here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, check out, I think I'll try to put the link below because at the end of the day, I just don't have the graphic here. And it would, if I put up the graphic for No Shave November, it would make Jason disappear. So, I don't want to do that. But yeah, so just check out the link. We will have videos next month to show you what you're donating to, essentially. We just hope you'll take part in this with us next month and help us fundraise for a great cause to help with cancer research. So I just want to throw that out there. We're going to take our break, and when we come back, we'll have our NFL picks and Tinkle on this. All right, week 6, I believe, or week 7 NFL picks. The Washington football team versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers 7.5.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going to go with the Packers. Packers over the Washington football team. Because Aaron Rodgers is still on that big old FU tour.
Yeah.
And it's showcasing big time this year.
Yeah. Packers, without question. I think it'll be close at first. I thought the Chiefs in the Washington game would have been closer, but it didn't work out that way. Speaking of the Chiefs, they're the next game in line. Chiefs and the Titans. Chiefs are 4.5 favorites.
This was a tough one to call. I mean, the butthurt Bills fan makes me want to see the Kansas City Chiefs beat up on the Tennessee Titans, but in reality, I'm probably going to go with a realistic factor and say that the Tennessee Titans are going to beat up on Kansas City because Derrick Henry is just... Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry for a reason. Let's just say that.
Man. I'm going to lean Chiefs, but it's not going to be by much. Let me put it that way. I'm going to say by 3 at best. I think it comes down to Butker at the end. Because honestly, both their defenses suck. It's probably going to be 30-plus for both teams. I wouldn't doubt it, but the Chiefs are going to have to get out to an early lead and try to take Derrick Henry out of this.
I think I want to say that Kansas City has a beefier defense to be able to take out the run.
They have a joke of a defense, honestly, so I'm just going to leave it at that. They're 32nd for a reason. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, on to the next one. The Falcons and the Dolphins. Atlanta 2.5. How do the Dolphins not have a bye? Weren't they just in London?
Yes.
That's bull. Okay. Man, the NFL loves... I agree with my brother here. The NFL loves screwing the Dolphins. Might have gave away my pick. Who knows? You'll see in a sec.
This one's probably a tough one to kind of call. But I want to go with... I think I'm going to go with Atlanta here. Only because... I'm not just saying it's because, it's division rival. Just because...
It's not division rival, but it's...
But Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins itself just haven't found a rhythm. And I don't think they're going to find it against the Atlanta Falcons. Because, we all thought, oh, well, Jacksonville, I think will lose to Miami. Well, it kind of happened to be the opposite way. Miami just can't get out of their own way. They have lost against a lot of these teams that they could have easily have beaten.
Yeah, they should have manhandled Jacksonville last week, but Uncle Urban, respect the grind, Sorry, not appropriate. But hey, we'll just stick with what I said there. Anyway.
And I guess I'm also going to make this bold thing. I think Kyle Pitts is going to have another big impact game.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm gonna go Falcons. I don't think I need to explain it. The Dolphins aren't that good. You explained it pretty well, so I'll leave it with that. I'm basically plagiarizing your notes there. Anyway, Jets and Patriots. Patriots are 7-point favorites here.
Wow. So we got the battle between Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. I'm gonna go with Mac and Cheese here. I think Mac Jones is gonna have himself another big game, and it's actually gonna lead to a win this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go New England over the Jets.
I'm going to go New England. It's going to be close, I think. Another game that's going to be a lot closer than the line says it's going to be. Honestly, the Patriots still are kind of a work in progress. Zach Wilson is inconsistent, but he has shown in games that he is the right choice for their QB situation. Again, I said it a few weeks ago. I'm going to double down on it. Zach Wilson is like Josh Allen. It's going to take a few years for him to really showcase that. I firmly believe it's going to be that. That's all I'm going to say there. Anyway, Panthers and Giants here. Panthers are 3-point favorite. My mistake. I was about to say Giants.
Oh. You know, it's kind of funny that we all thought Carolina was going to be one of those top teams.
But if
because they started the season 3-0 or something like that.
But it's always going to be a what could have been if McCaffrey had stayed healthy.
Yeah, that's true. So you got a banged up McCaffrey and you have a banged up Barkley. So this game, I really do think the Carolina Panthers will win. I think they'll be above 500, for the first time in quite some time. But don't be shocked if the Giants somehow surprisingly pull one out of their asses here in this game. But I'm still going Carolina.
Yeah.
I think Sam Darnold's going to have himself a game.
Yeah. I'm going to go Panthers as well. I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring for the Panthers end. I don't expect much out of the Giants, to say the least. They're kind of battling for the cellar at this point. Bengals and Ravens. There's a lot of games at 4:00 that could be labeled the game of the week, but this one might be the underdog game of the week. Baltimore 6.5 favorite.
I don't know if I would go with a 6.5 for this game. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot closer than I think it will be. Yes, don't get me wrong. Baltimore has looked a hell of a lot better than I thought they would be this year. Not gonna lie. I thought, well, they got no running backs. All their starters got hurt running back wise, and to see them with bringing in having 3 guys that weren't even part of the roster heading into from last year to this year, to be 5-1, it's crazy to think about. But yes, I will go with Baltimore, but don't be shocked that these two teams have a dogfight kind of game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I agree here, dogfight. But I think the Ravens will just come out with it because really no one's had an answer for Lamar this year. How is Lamar, when we were talking MVP race, how was Lamar not included in this discussion? That's what I want to know, because he's been having that kind of year.
I know, and he's had games where he had that game where he had over 440 something passing yards, and that's just insane to think about for somebody like him.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Eagles and Raiders. Raiders 3-point favorites.
The funny thing is, when we were on the break, I was gonna say how much that their former head coach there getting fired was gonna be a distraction. In that game against the Broncos, didn't look like there was much distractions from
But
what
it's
happened.
the Broncos.
They seemed like they were motivated to get this win and keep things on track. I'm gonna say this now. I think they're gonna keep the trend going. I think that the Raiders are gonna go out there at their home stadium, get the win against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is good. They just really haven't found the answer to win football games right now, and I don't think they're gonna do it here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, they honestly, there was a report this week about Sean Watson going to Miami, and we should have actually talked about that because we'll probably talk about it in the next week if the rumor is true, of course. But I'm gonna go Raiders here. I just don't think Jalen Hurts right now has proven that he's the answer just yet. He's really, the last game I saw him, he looked real shaky, to be honest. He didn't look like the guy that's the franchise QB, I would say.
Right.
I'm not going to call him a bust. I'm just going to say he definitely didn't rise to the occasion.
Definitely not.
So that's why I'm going to go Raiders here. I know I said 2 or 3 of these games could easily be games of the week, and you all are probably laughing at this because the next 3 games that are 4 o'clock games, of course, Rams and Lions, then you got Texans and Cardinals. But here's why I say that. Because you got Matt Stafford playing against his old team. You got DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt playing against their old teams. Granted, it's not in their stadium like their old stadiums, but, I just wonder what notes were kept on those players. We saw that New England and Tampa was close. How close could these games be? With that said, though, Rams and Lions, Rams are 16-point favorites, so the line does not favor.
Oh my God!
The line does not favor my last speech.
Yeah, I'm going Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
But I was gonna go Detroit. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna play that game. I'm going with the Rams. There's no question. Texans and Cardinals. Arizona is a 17.5-point favorite.
Holy shit!
Still no
almost as bad as the when it was the Bills and the Texans.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and don't be shocked if this is a shutout game for Arizona against Houston. Just be on the watch out because the last time it was a 17.5 line. It was a shutout. It was 40-0 for the Bills. Don't be shocked if it's something like that between Arizona and Houston.
Yep.
So, just saying.
I agree. No question on this one. Cardinals win it. If Tyrod was playing, maybe it would be close, but I don't see it happening.
I think he's close to coming back soon.
Yeah.
If I recall.
Interesting. But anyway, Bears and Bucks. Bucks are 12.5.
Ooh. I'm just gonna say this now. Justin Fields has really showcased that he's, probably gonna actually do something with the Bears. I mean, they're 3-3. They're not totally out of a playoff picture as of yet. I mean, it's still early yet, but can we say it's safe to say that he's a big benefactor of why they've won 3 games this year?
Can I just still say that he is an Ohio State quarterback? It may not
I
show
know,
yet.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm still going to ride that. I'm still going to beat that drum that he's an Ohio State product.
I mean, of course I know who I'm going to go with. I'm clearly going to go with Tampa Bay over Chicago. I'm just saying that, like, I just think that it's going to be a little bit. I probably won't be a close game because, you know, it's Justin Fields going up against the GOAT of football. Like, let's just be safe to say. He's going to look like the Justin Fields. Remember when he had his, like, first start or something like that and he absolutely sucked? It's going to be a game where he's just going to absolutely suck and shit the bed.
Exactly. Bucks is my pick as well. I don't think it's going to be close. Sunday Night Football now. 49ers Colts. Al Michaels, I believe,
I'm
is
sorry,
back.
but
so
could they, like, switch the Sunday night game? Because that does not sound like a very entertaining Sunday Night Football game.
They could be honest, though, there's really no game above that would be Sunday night worthy. I mean, the Chiefs and the Titans, the Chiefs have been on primetime almost every week this year. So you can't flex them into that game. I mean, if the Texans actually had a good team, you could argue that the Texans and the Cardinals could be. Same if the Lions won a couple games, you could vouch for that game to be flexed. But
I think if there's any game that should be flexed at Sunday Night Football, it's probably the Cincinnati-Baltimore game, honestly.
Maybe I would argue that. But anyway, San Fran's a 4-point favorite, by the way.
I'm going to give the edge to the Colts here.
Jimmy G's starting. Deebo Samuel's on a roll. I think it's only a matter of time before Brandon Ayuk catches fire. So I'm actually going to go with the Niners here. I think Jimmy G gives them the best chance to win games. That's all I'm going to say on that.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that, like...
this
was a tough one to call. It really is.
I will say the Colts are back, I think, in terms of being at least in the race. I wouldn't say playoffs or Super Bowl. I would just say in the race is the best I can give. But this game, if they drop to 2-5, they're done.
Yeah.
So, Saints and Seahawks, New Orleans a 4.5 favorite. And if Russell Wilson was playing, this game would be the game of the week, without question.
No, if this was like last year where it was Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, it would have definitely been a game to watch. But now that it's Jameis Winston and freaking Geno Smith, it's just like,
Yeah.
A Monday Night Football game, cool. Like,
you got the worst quarterback in the NFL versus a guy who shouldn't even be in the league.
It just, this one's a tough one to choose. I'm probably going to choose the Saints. I think Jameis Winston's going to have a better day than Geno Smith. And I think at the end of the day, I'm just going to give Jameis Winston. And watch this be randomly the one game where he throws 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, because he always has that one random game where he does good, and then has one random game where he does crappy. So I think this is going to be the one game where he's going to go out there in Seattle and just like toss like 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go Saints as well. I would say, here's the thing: if Russell Wilson was starting, I would give the Seahawks the edge. One thing, though, that could change my mind, Alex Collins played an incredible game last week. Does Alex Collins have a similar game this week? You know, that's going to be
against a Saints defense. I don't think so.
I think he puts up 70 yards. I will say that. I think 70, 80 yards is a safe bet. And maybe a touchdown. And I think a touchdown, actually. I'll say a touchdown. I think he gives them the better edge at running back. But that's all I'll leave it at for that. Let's get on to Tinkle on this. And we got 2 of them. First off, we'll start off with this week's. Aaron Rodgers rushes into the end zone for a touchdown. Bears fan didn't like it, gave this and said, "You're number 2." with the two fingers on two different hands. Rodgers looks up into the crowd, and instead of going malice at the palace like Ron Artest did, Aaron Rodgers just brushes it off and says, I fucking owned you all my life. I still own you. I still own you. I'm sorry, I wasn't as enthusiastic as Rodgers.
No, he did this. And he's like, I own you. I still own you. I still fucking own you.
Yep, something like that. Yeah, but then of course to add to it, Tom Brady chimed in. Can I just say Tom Brady has more personality now than he ever had in New England?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, you leave Belichick and you actually grow a personality. So Tom Brady goes on Sirius XM this week and he says, congratulations to Rodgers on becoming part owner of the Bears. So for that,
I'm ready for somebody on Wikipedia to just like change Aaron Rodgers' like Wikipedia bio and just like say like owner and then it just says Chicago Bears.
Yep, exactly. I'm waiting for it.
Or do it for Chicago Bears owner and then it just shows Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, exactly. So for that, Chicago Bears and that fan that flipped off Aaron Rodgers, tinkle on this.
Yes.
So we do have a consolation one. This one was a good runner-up, and I think you'll like it. Jason and I were both in attendance to watch this one. So in front of us, I wish I caught video, because if I did, this would get a lot of views, I think. So we're at the Syracuse-Clemson game last Friday. Jason and I are sitting there watching the game. We had a guy just acting like Ric Flair. I won't tell you our full comments on that because it wasn't very broadcast appropriate, some of our comments on what was going on. So, we're just like, we can't believe this guy. He had to be celebrating his 21st birthday, would be my guess, because he had the happy birthday necklace on. He was drinking Corona. First off, how you get drunk on Corona is beyond me, because Corona is one of the weakest beers I've ever seen.
I'm pretty sure he was drinking before he came in.
He had to have been. And then just acted sober to get in. But, so, halftime rolls around. He didn't like some of the calls, so he's always flipping off the refs and yelling, "Woo!" like Ric Flair. So then, start of the third quarter, he takes his beer and chucks it down. So we're in the 300 level. He chucks it down to the 100 level, still has beer in it, soaks a man and a woman in the front row, and they want to fight him. Police had to come up and take him away. Then the police came back for his friends, and that's the part of the video I did get. Is that his friends got escorted out, and his friends guilty by association. So for that, I hope whoever you are that was at that game, you're probably flipping me off and yelling "woo" at the screen right now. But for that, bud, you're a tinkle on this. I'm sorry. Like,
I find it hilarious that like his one friend is just like getting up, like standing up on the bleachers, acting all tough, like, yeah, come on, bro, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gonna come up here and motherfucking freaking fight me? Like, hey. And everybody's like, shut up, reject Tom Holland. How about you go spidey your senses out to jail and get ass raped up or something like that. I know, too much.
Too much, but we'll leave it with that. Can I just say, though, on a personal note, if your friends encourage you to get drunk and act like that in a game, find a new friend group.
Right.
I just want to say this. I've had friends where we've gone to Bills games. Jason can vouch for it. We went to the Washington football team versus the Buffalo Bills before the pandemic occurred. And your boy here got shit-faced drunk, and decided to talk to a Bills fan while wearing a Chargers jersey. Now, normally, you would think that would be a fight, and I had a friend tugging my jersey, trying to get me away from this guy because he thought I was going to fight him. Okay, that's the kind of friend you need right there. The friend to tell you, okay, enough's enough.
Which I find hilarious because he was pretty drunk himself, too.
Yeah. And that was funny, too, but we were both, at least I knew I wasn't going to fight him. I wanted to just talk to him.
Yeah.
I wasn't winding up for that, but still, it's the point that's the kind of friend group you should invite to games, guys who can keep you under control, and that's something this guy lacked in doing. I want to just leave it at that. I don't want to say anything else that could incriminate us. I just saw
all I'm
offer
going to
that
say
piece of
too
advice.
is please just don't come to games and just toss your empty beer cans down below. You're just asking to get taken out of the stadium and personally probably banned for life at the stadium. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going to happen. Is you're probably going to be banned from ever going to Syracuse games ever again. Whoever you are, just please don't go to it. If you want to drink, fine, drink. Just don't act like a dick.
Man,
because that's simply what you are. You're just, in the end of the day, you're just a dick for doing that.
This public service announcement was made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. We had to. Now we're gonna get sued by PBS as we go off the air. So.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I guess it was worth it, right? No, I was kidding.
Yeah, but I will say, other than that, it was a good game. We had fun. Can I just say the Carrier Dome renovations look great?
Yes, I do. I will say this now. There was an instance where if you knew that like you had the game on the line and it's either you kick a 51-yard field goal to try to tie it or you go for 4th and 1, you got to go for 4th and 1. Don't kick the field goal.
Yeah. And can I just also say this, that Dino Baber shouldn't have run out the clock. He wouldn't have been in that situation if it wasn't for that. So Dino made the mistake of trying to run out the clock. He should have gone for the touchdown, gotten in the red zone before he started running the clock. So that I'm just going to leave it on as far as my comments on the game. But we had a nice day. We were at Kitty Hoynes out in Syracuse. We wanted to do dinosaur barbecue. 2 places you guys got to try for sure if you're ever in upstate New York. Dinosaur Barbecue or Kitty Hoynes Irish Pub. And then Destiny USA is always a great destination. So we were there. But the Loud House is always a great place. The Carrier Dome is one of the greatest. And maybe we'll be back for basketball there very soon. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
And speaking of basketball, prayers up to Dick Vitale.
Yes.
He's battling lymphoma right now, 82 years old. Keep fighting, baby.
I'm pretty sure this is his, second time fighting it, right?
I have no clue, but can I just say I'm going to try to do my best impression. So, Dick Vitale, if you're watching, this is for you, buddy. Get better, baby. We need you back on the sidelines. We need you calling the games for years to come. Let's beat this cancer, baby.
Yes. Please. For all of us.
Oh, man.
And Tinkle Sports and Entertainment. And you guys, please.
Yeah.
Pray that he'll come out all right on this.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll be here all week with those jokes, or with those impressions. So anyway, with that, we want to thank you for watching. We will be back next Sunday, and of course, we'll have plenty more to talk about then. Until then, guys, goodbye, everyone.